Okay, firstly, Kriti, um, being at the India Today Conclave 2019, your first opening statement, just at being at the conclave, being here with India Today.
Firstly, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here to hear me out. I always feel great being at any platform associated with India Today. I've done the Mind Rocks, and it's been a great experience. I really genuinely feel like interacting with you all personally, sitting here, is so much more fun than being on social media and Instagram and Insta stories and just showing you a part of my life. Here is going to be a more heart-to-heart, hopefully, and always chatting with you, Sushant, has been amazing.
Right, as I said, her energy is infectious. Now, you're an outsider in Hindi cinema. First question is, for being a woman, and that too an outsider in Hindi cinema, how is that experience? Is it nerve-wracking? What do you have to go through?
I don't know about outsider right now. I think I'm slowly sort of trying to get there, trying to get more comfortable. I am way more comfortable at the filmy parties now, for sure. But I would say that being a woman in the film industry, I think today, like right now, is the best time to be a woman in this industry, because there are so many meteor parts being written. There's so many better roles being written now for women. There's so many films which revolve around a female protagonist that are doing so well. They're collecting the box office, they're making the profits, they're making the producers a lot more confident to make many more such films. And there have been many examples. And I think today women are also being a little more selfish, a little more wanting to do, craving for the meteor parts and wanting to do a lot more than just being there for 4 scenes and 2 songs and being happy about it. And I'm glad that change is happening. Cinema is changing right now completely. The audience has become way too smart, and they just want to see something interesting, entertaining, worthwhile their time, worth spending the money that they do in the theaters, worth the 2 hours of time that they're giving. They want to be entertained. They want to watch something different. And, I was reading that women, very, very long back, when Dada Saheb Phalke had made the first film, Raja Harishchandra, he was not finding female actors because it was sort of looked down upon. And male actors actually played the female roles also. They dressed up as women and they played the female roles. If you see from there to now, we've really come a long way, definitely. But I genuinely feel like there's so much more to do and there's so much more to go for.
I loved what you said post the success of Luka Chupi, that why is the attention always diverted to the male star? And that's still a problem. That, when a film does well, the hero has to say, he walks away with all the accolades. And the heroine is just like, what, arm candy?
I would sort of disagree with that, because I think somewhere things were taken in a different way. That also happens in this industry, that you say something, by the time it's written and then reposted by people, it becomes something else. So I genuinely feel like I did get a lot of credit for Luka Chupi, and I'm very happy about it. I want to clarify it on this platform. My interview that I gave on credit in general was not about a particular film. I genuinely feel like so I was asked that, how do you feel when a reviewer writes a paragraph on a male actor's performance and then writes for a female actor, she looked really good and did her job well. And trust me, this has happened with me, and I'm not talking about Luka Chupi. I mean, it's happened with me many times, and I'm not saying all reviewers, very few. There are still those gine chune who sort of still do that, where you see like a paragraph written on how the performance of the guy was, and when it comes to the female actor, it just like is 1-2 lines. And I would love feedback. I would love you to just, even if you don't like it, just say it. And that has happened with me. I think that needs to start changing. It has happened with me in Rapta, where I actually had a lot to do for the first time. And I was like, oh, here I'm going to read how they like me as an actor. And I just feel like in some sort of missed it also. Some wrote like Sushant and Jim, and then I was like, where's my name? So that happened with me in 1-2 reviews. That has changed a little bit, but there was a debate that started with Taapsee saying something, and then I joined in, and then Arjun joined in, where it was more about the mentions in headlines. You know, it's very often that a film that is even a rom-com or, you know, for example, Luka Chupi that way. So there was some site that had written Mr. Bachchan's Badla and Kartik Aaryan's Luka Chupi fare well at the box office. So that's where Taapsee had said that, you know, I think the female actors have also worked equally hard, but I think you forgot to mention them.
So then, leading on to that, you know, equality and liberty.
Yeah.
How do you look at those, you know, values in the industry right now with a lot of newcomers coming in?
Yeah.
With some anecdotes.
Equality, like gender equality?
Gender equality, there's pay parity.
So I feel like things are changing a lot. As I said, there are better roles being written. Treatment-wise also, things are really changing. It's not like you feel like you're not treated well or anything, nothing like that. Things are becoming way better for females. As I said, I think women are also sort of standing up for themselves and wanting to do meteor parts, wanting to prove themselves. But there are few incidents that keep happening here and there, which still makes you feel like it's a patriarchal world. I mean, pay parity is definitely one of those. There is a huge, huge difference, I feel.
How can that be resolved? Will it ever be resolved, by the way?
So I personally feel, I do agree that the remuneration should be somewhere related to how much you have to do, how much effort you have to put in a film, how much you do in a film, your part, and also the number of audiences that you are able to pull into the theater. It makes sense. I feel if two actors, a male and a female, probably have equal amount of role in the film, and maybe the male actor's popularity is a little more, the difference would be somewhere like payment difference, I'm saying, like 2 and 6 or 2 and 8.
Okay.
There is still
So
that
4
much
times.
difference. There are some times when, say, the male actor's popularity is a little more, he's probably a little more up there, where the difference goes to 2 and 20 or 30.
So 10, 15 times of what the female star is making.
And with the even higher ones, if you say, the difference also goes up to a 2 and 100. So I just feel like that gap, I cannot understand.
So
Like,
if you're getting 2 lakhs, he's getting 2 crores. That
yeah,
much.
like that. I feel like that gap, I don't understand that. I mean, I understand the gap being there. A film that is around a female protagonist not always pulls in as much audience as maybe what we should start calling male-oriented films. We never say that, but we say women-oriented films. So I feel like, yeah, maybe they pull in a lot more audiences into the theater. But I feel it's changing. Like, you know, women are now, there is a Piku, there is a Queen, there is a Razi, there is, you know, there are these films that sort of have been around the female character and have also made the money. So I feel that things are changing, and as things are changing, I feel maybe the remuneration is not changing as much. That gap is not reducing as much. So I feel women themselves need to sort of start taking up a stand. When a guy sort of increases his fee a lot, people say, but then people give. But when a woman increases a lot, it's like, how can you ask for this much? You know, how can you ask for this much money? What nonsense. I think she's gone, you know, too high in her head. So I feel that needs to sort of change, and I think women also need to stand up for themselves. In terms of, if I say gender bias or whatever, I feel like only once I've faced something little bit here and there, which like, for example, I was working with an actor who was not a bigger actor than me.
Not an A-lister, you mean?
No, I would not say that. A-lister, but it's not like he's bigger than me, you know. It's, we could
Same
be like,
level.
yeah, same level or whatever, and like giving a better car on shoot. I'm okay traveling in any car which is comfortable, as long as my legs fit in. It's fine. But giving a better car, you know, you just feel, you don't feel it otherwise, but when you see a difference, you're like, why are you showing me that difference? And we were promoting a film, and one day I was given a room. You know, we had to get ready in a hotel, so we were given a hotel room to get ready. And I was in a room, and it was sort of small for the whole team and all the costumes and everything to fit in. The next day, we arrived a little earlier, and we got a slightly bigger room. And then the male actors team came in and said that, oh, sorry, उन्होंने गलती से हमारा room आपको दे दिया है. So by then I was already settled, and I was like, listen, I'm settled, I can't move now. Because I think I felt that I deserved it. And it's not like I didn't deserve it. So I feel like you need to sort of stand up for yourself sometimes and value yourself. And only when you value yourself can the other person start valuing you. So yeah, that's there.
Talking about the other person valuing you, everybody's favorite subject, let's get down to love, okay?
That is your favorite subject.
It's everyone's favorite subject. So, young star in the industry, you know, doing very well for yourself. Love is always a complicated subject for all film stars I've seen. You know, relationships work, sometimes they get written about a lot. You are linked up to a lot of people. Is there no time for love really, or do you crave for it?
No, that's absolutely not true. You can always make time for love, and if you're not able to, then your life is sad, yeah? I mean, you should be able to make time for love. What else are you living? Work should be a part of your life and not your entire life. So I value relationships a lot, be it my family, my friends, or a special one. Right now, I don't have one. So, so I do value, and I think love is a beautiful thing. And love is not complicated. I think people are. People complicate relationships, and that's how we're made. We're humans. We overthink. Being an overthinker myself. Yeah, I feel like when you're genuinely in love, you'll make time for it. And if you're not making time for it, that means you're not probably in love because you're making excuses.
What are you looking for in a guy then? Your ideal guy that you would like to be in a
Ideal
relationship?
guy, I don't think exists, yeah. We all
Doesn't,
have a
but
long
what
list.
would you settle for?
Uh,
Minimum qualities.
I think I look for an organic connect. I feel I look for something which is not explainable. You know, you just meet someone and you connect and you feel something, and you don't. I feel like love should not have a reason. It should not be that I love this person because this, because that reason can always vanish. You know, it's probably deep love and you don't know why it is there. You know, you just love the person for who he is, all of it. Loyalty is definitely something that I definitely look for, and that is something that I can't do without. And that is something that's also very rare. So yeah, that is there. But I think I'd like my guy to have a good sense of humor. I'd like him to be able to have conversations with me, and also be okay doing nothing with each other. You know, like just sitting in one room and not doing anything, and you doing your own thing, and still being comfortable there. Just a lot of care. I think I'm not more of a materialistic person. I think for me, small efforts matter a lot, small, genuine efforts when it's not a Valentine's Day, when it's not a birthday, and you know, these little things that you do for each other, maybe like knowing that, okay, we're going for a movie and she's going to feel cold, let me carry a jacket. Or, oh, she's coming from shoot and she must be hungry, let me order something. You know, so small things like that, or even like getting, no matter how cliche it might sound, getting a random rose and giving it to you, it will put a smile on your face no matter what. No matter how your day has gone, you'll still feel better.
So if you like someone, would you be willing to make the first move?
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone who, if I'm feeling something, I usually say it out. I have a problem keeping things inside, you know. I feel like whether I'm in love with someone, whether I'm upset with someone or angry with someone, I might not really wait for you to ask me. I might just say it out before. And I would be okay making the first move, though I would love it if the guy makes the first move. So I'm a little cliched, stereotypical like that.
Talking of stereotypes, you know, a lot of how women are portrayed on the big screen in India. As you said, we've had a lot of good cinema coming in, a lot of meteor roles for women, but they are still, I had just had a very intense discussion slash debate with Shahid on Kabir Singh.
Yeah.
You know how that went, and the guy doesn't give an option to the girl and just, have you seen it? Just, you know, sort of picks her up. And then even Katrina, you know, I said, I love your work, but why do you reduce yourself in, let's say, a Thugs of Hindustan, where people say she's only dancing, you know, in the film. She doesn't really have a role. And for Katrina Kaif to do that. How do you look at women being portrayed on the big screen, sexuality-wise also? A lot of times they're reduced to being arm candy. How do you think women are portrayed on the big screen in Hindi cinema right now?
I think there's a mix of everything, you know. As you said, there are still certain those kind of roles. But I feel like to each his own, yeah. I mean, I feel like as actors, as performers, we're entertainers. What we feel like doing, we feel like being a part of a project for certain reasons that might be just reasons good enough for us. You know, so if Katrina felt like being a part of Thugs of Hindustan, she saw something in the film. She is a fabulous dancer. And if she feels like doing that, it's her choice. There's nothing wrong in that. I personally am someone who craves to do a different role, and that's something I look for. Having said that, it's not like I would still go and do an Era Gera in Kalank, and I love doing that. I would still do an Aao Kabhi Haveli Pe in Stree, because I also love dancing. I've known myself as someone who loved dancing before I loved acting, before I knew I could even act. So I think I'm fine even doing those dance numbers. That doesn't make me feel degraded. You know, it's all in the head, I feel. Yes, if you're trying to portray something wrong to the society, where I would never do something that degrades a woman or feels sleazy or feels, you know, putting my self-respect down. I would not do that. But at the same time, I feel I don't want to restrict myself कि इतना role होगा तो ही मैं करूँगी. Sometimes I feel like, you know, if you're making a difference to the film in any form, and it's 5 scenes also, you can still make an impact in 5 scenes. Brad Pitt has done so many films, like 2 films where he's done 2 scenes or 3 scenes. And you feel like, wow, that's a character. So I feel stereotypes of women, I mean, it's changing with time. There are these bolder films. Vidya Balan has done so many films, you know, which I feel has changed a lot for women in general. Dirty Picture is not a very, it's not how you normally used to see women in films. Tabu's character in Andhadhun, I would love to do that. I would love to do a Gone Girl, you know, which you don't expect out of me, which, you know, you feel like, oh, she's a girl next door and she seems really sweet. Oh my God, what happened to her? Yeah. That's what I want to actually play. And I crave to do those kind of things.
You know, with the whole, there was this whole Me Too movement that started last year. Lots of names came in. Now it seems to have fizzled out. Do you think the industry is now a safer place for women, or was it just, you know, a social media campaign in India?
I don't think it was a social media campaign. I think I'm very glad that we actually spoke about it. It takes a lot of guts for any woman, or for that matter, a man who's gone through something like that, to speak about it in public. I don't know if it's become a safer place, but yes, I do feel that it's made a difference that we sort of needed. It's got that fear in this industry, and for that matter, why this industry? I feel every industry, you know, in corporates also, I feel everywhere. It's got this fear that, okay, if I do something wrong, or if I try and utilize my position and try and like manipulate someone, there are strong chances that that person is going to speak up and I'll be screwed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word, but okay. So I feel that fear was was much needed here, and I'm glad that it's happened. Unfortunately, the cases that kind of come up in these Me Too movements are more like he said, she said. The incidents that have happened, not recorded, nobody's been around. How much can you really do in terms of getting justice, you know, in those cases? I just feel like it is sad, but unfortunately, lawfully, there's not so much that can be done. But at least that fear is there, and I'm glad that it's coming.
What's next for Kriti Sanon?
What's next for me? Well, firstly, Houseful 4 is releasing this Diwali. The promos are about to be out very soon, in a few days, so I'm very excited about that. There is Panipat, which is my first proper period film, I would say, where I'm playing a Maharashtrian character for the first time. with Ashutosh Gowarkar sir and Arjun, who's been here. That's going to release by the end of this year. There is a very, very special film, I would say, that I have signed and I'm going to be starting very soon, called Mimi, which is on surrogacy. And that's a very, very special subject. And I also feel that's probably my first film which is more around my character and the female protagonist. And playing Mimi is going to be very special. As I said, guys, there are Meteor Paths, those kind of films that are being written and are coming up, which is really great. And this is one special one. I will also be in this one working back again with Lakshman Uttekar sir, who's directed Lukka Chupi, and my absolute favorite Pankaj Tripathi sir, who I've had a great, great equation on and off screen. And yeah, that's about it for now. There is something else also, but that'll be announced later.
That's good. Okay, guys, huge round of applause for Kriti Sanon and our volunteers. It's time for Coca-Cola. Okay, come. The lady over there. No phones on stage, bud. No phones. Come if you want to come. Come quickly. Come, ma'am. Mumbai, let's get some energy going, guys. Come on. You're the entertainment capital of India. Show some love for Kriti Sanon. Yes. Pump it up. Huge round of applause for Kriti Sanon. Thank you, everyone.